Hey guys, welcome back to week 4. Okay, this explanation video, instructional video, is for week 4, Monday, for middle stage 1. Now, middle stage 1 on a Monday is going to have a different lesson to Tuesday. We will be doing addition today and subtraction tomorrow. Okay, so today's lesson has its own video for Monday, middle stage 1. Okay, now remember, middle stage 1 is for an extension and building on what we've learnt in beginning stage 1. So if you are working hard at beginning stage 1 and still working out how to do it properly, then please stick to beginning stage 1, okay? This is more of an extension activity. My learning intention for Monday week 4 is I am learning to add tens numbers by bridging 100. We are still using our bridging or jumping method. Okay, now when we say bridging, our first jump is going to be to 100. So we've been working with jumping to bridging 10s and 20s in beginning stage 1, and now we're working with bridging in 100s in middle stage 1. Now the example that I'm going to show you now is the example that's on Google Classroom and also our weekly overview. Okay, so we're doing addition, so we're going to be moving forward. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is choose 2 cards out of a deck. I have chosen a 5 and a 7. Now the first thing that I need to look at here with a 5 and a 7, let me put those on the board. We are adding 2 numbers together that achieve a total that is over 100. So the first thing that I need to do is look at these cards. If I add those cards together, will that number be over 10? So 7 plus 5. I'm going to put 7 in my head and count on by 5. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I reached 12. That means that I know when I make these 2 numbers into tens numbers, that the total will be over 100 because 7 plus 5 equals 12. Okay, so there's a little hint as well for you for our activity, but we'll get to that in a minute. I need to make sure these 2 numbers are going to reach more than 10. The reason for that is because our learning intention is to add tens numbers by bridging 100. I can't bridge 100 if my total isn't going to reach more than 100. Okay? I need to make these numbers into tens. How do I do that? I simply remember to put our addition in. I simply add a 0. So that now shows me that it is 70 plus 50. 70 plus 50. First of all, I need to partition. Let me just quickly rub this out. Oh, actually, we'll move this up just a slight bit. Sorry guys, I ran out of a bit of room there. 70 plus 50. My first step is we're still partitioning here. Okay guys, because we're bridging. We are still bridging, so we need to split this number into 2 numbers. 50 needs to be split into 2 numbers. I need to find 70 plus what equals 100. How many do I need to jump by? So I'm going to be jumping by tens here because we're working with tens numbers. 70 is going to be put in my head. And I need to jump by 10 until I reach 100. Now let's see how many times I jump by 10 to reach 100. So I've got 70, 80, 90, 100. So I've jumped 3 times by 10. Does that represent 3 tens? No, I need to put my 0 in there to make it a tens number. Now 30 is the first number that I am now going to jump by. But I need to figure out my second number. I need to find my second number. 30 goes in my head, so 30 plus what? We haven't found that number yet, equals 50. So I'm going to put 30 in my head, and I'm going to count by tens until I reach 50. 30, 40, 50. So I've jumped once, twice by 10. So I've jumped twice by 10. Would that be right? Have I written that correctly? No, I don't think so. I need to add a 0 on the end to make it a tens number. So that is our first step. Remember guys, our first step every time when we are doing an equation using partitioning and a number line, our first step is always to partition the second number. That's our first step, step number 1. Step number 2, I need to draw my blank number line. Now I am working with addition here, so I am going to be moving forward on my number line. So I put my largest number here, 70. My first jump is going to reach 100 because we are bridging 100. So I don't even need to put a value here on my jump because I know the first jump is going to land on 100. But what did I add to 70 to reach 100? So let me think back. Oh, that's right. 70 and 30 are friends of 100. So I need to put my plus sign and 30 above my jump because I need to show the value that I have jumped by. I have now bridged 70 and 100 together by adding 30. So I'm going to put a tick above 30. But I haven't finished yet because I still need to add the second number. I am now going to jump by 20. Now what's that landed on? So I can jump 20, I jumped twice by 10. So I am going to do the same thing from 100. I'm going to put 100 in my head and I'm going to count 100, 110, 120. I've jumped twice by 10 and I've landed on 120. Okay, so the first thing I did was jump to reach 100. So I jumped, remember I put my jump or my bridge, whichever one you would like to call it, and landed straight on 100. Now, I jumped by 30, so I put a plus 30 on the top, and then I put a plus 20 because I still had to add on my final number. So now I know 70 plus 50 equals 120. This is what we are going to be doing today. Guys, the activity, the example is the same on Google Classroom and our weekly overview. Okay, so this is what we are going to work with. I would like to see you try and reach 10 equations. Remember, to show your bridging strategy and to show that you have reached the learning intention, you need to add together two numbers that equal over 100. An easy way to find that is by taking down two cards and adding them together. If they reach over 10, you know that if you add a 0 to that, to each number, it will equal over 100. Because if I add a 0 to 10, it shows me the number 100. So that's the first thing that you really need to do. You need to turn over 2 cards and add them together to make sure they reach over 10. They reach a total over 10. So that's the first thing you need to do when you choose the cards. The first step of the equation is partitioning the second number. You need to find the number that the largest number, you are going to partition the smallest number. Okay? You need to find, what do I add to the largest number to reach 100? Okay, so in this instance, it's 70. I'm going to jump forward by 10s. I put 70 in my head, and I count forward by 10 until I hit 100. So 70, 80, 90, 100. I've now reached 100 and I've jumped 1, 2, 3 times. So I write 3 here. But make sure you turn it into a tens number by adding a 0. Next, we need to find the missing number here. So 30 plus what equals 50? I have to reach this total if I've partitioned 50. 30, I'm going to put 30 in my head and I'm going to count forwards by 10 until I reach 50. 30, 40, 50. I've jumped once and twice. I put my 2 there, remembering to put a 0 to make it a tens number. That's step 1. Step 2 is I draw my number line. Okay? I draw my number line. I put 70 down the bottom. I am bridging 100, so my first jump is going to be 100. I haven't put any values here yet, but I know that my first jump is going to reach 100. That is the bridging strategy. I know that 70 plus 30, because 70's friend of 100 is 30, is my first jump. I then add my second jump, plus 20. I don't know what 100 plus 20 is, so I put 100 in my head and I count forward. How many times by 10? 2. I've jumped twice by 10, so 100, 110, 120. I now put a little mark with 120 down the bottom. That is what we are doing today, guys, on Monday, week 4 for middle stage 1. If you have any questions, please message me on Google Classroom, or on Class Dojo. Keep up the fantastic work. Remember, once you have finished beginning stage 1 and you feel very confident with our partitioning, then please move on to this. Guys, keep up the excellent work. See you later.